Hey guys, welcome to the HVAC Diaries. Today is Saturday, July 29th. Where is the summer going? And this is my HVAC vlog. This vlog is sponsored by New Calgon. It's the brand I trust. We had quite a few condensate problems this week. I think it's super interesting. We usually have a theme to the week. Sometimes we replace capacitors, some weeks we replace fan motors. This week was condensate issues. So the first condensate issue was in a little kindergarten, and it's so funny working there. The kids there have no chill. You walk in there and they're just like, "Why are you here?" And as we're doing our job, they come and they look around the corner and they're like, "Wow, cool." And I don't know, for me, I think it's really cool for these little kids to see me doing my job all dressed up and just doing my thing, so that when they're older, it's just gonna be a normal thing. They've just seen women doing these jobs. So I love that. Anyway, so what happened in this unit, it kept tripping on a condensate overflow alarm. And every time we check this unit, the unit is fine. The unit is a water source heat pump in that office building that we take care of. And so what we did this time was we followed the condensate line down the line, and a lot of these units, they'll funnel into one main drain. So we followed the line down the line, and we ended up cutting out a piece of it. And when we did, so much water came out. There was so much water just sitting in that drain. There must be a blockage at some point, maybe in the main drain, or maybe we relieved that blockage when we drained it. So now that unit is completely drained out and it is now working properly. We had a second condensate problem in that building on the same day. It was in a unit that's being fully renovated, so it's gutted, it's going through a tenant renovation. And what they had the unit running while they were having everything destroyed and everything. So the filter was completely plugged up and it caused the unit to frost up, which defrosted and leaked out water just because there's too much water for the condensate pan to handle. And then the third condensate issue we had this week was at a vape shop. And they complained there was like water leaking out of the ceiling. So we took a look at it, and they have a condensate pump there that was full when we got there. And so we're like, okay, well the pump is faulty. But then if you just tap the pump on the side of it, it energizes and it pumps out, no problem. So we're like, an intermittently faulty condensate pump is not a risk we're willing to take, because we tested it a second time, and once again it wouldn't pump out until we gave it a little tap on the side. So there must be maybe some debris or something's faulty with the little micro switch inside there, because inside there's a float, and as the float lifts up, it triggers the little switch, I guess. And so I guess that's just not triggering. So the new pump, I installed the new pump, tested it, and it worked perfectly. And I just laugh sometimes because I get so excited every time anything works. I'm like, I just installed this brand new pump. Yay, it works! Like, yeah, of course it works. The girly girl in me came out during one of our jobs. We walked into this boardroom with, it looked like somebody's just working there. They've got stuff on the tables and they've got some personal stuff in the boardroom. And so I look over and there's a pile of shoes and I'm like, those are John Fluvog shoes. I have to go and see them. Check them out. I have a pair of my own John Fluvogs. John Fluvog is a Vancouver shoe designer, and all of his pieces are totally unique and interesting and one of a kind and very expensive. I bought my pair on sale, 50% off, and they cost me $480, and they are a piece of artwork that I will have forever. I had a little bit of an interesting task this week. The packaging company that we do a lot of work for, they are in the midst of trying to obtain a new customer, and their customer wants to know about their carbon footprint. And so what they wanted us to do is to create like a record of the types of refrigerant and the amounts of refrigerant that all of their equipment use. So I've actually had photographs of all of the nomenclature plates of their rooftop units. So I've put a spreadsheet together, and then on Monday I went onto the rooftop there and I just double checked because there was a bit of a discrepancy. We had replaced a couple of units, some unit doesn't exist anymore. So that was a little interesting task. Unfortunately, it was raining on Monday. It was the 2 rainy days. Monday and Tuesday were the only rainy days in July. But so I had my little Subco umbrella and I was walking around the roof. I love this Subco magnetic umbrella for rainy days. It's got a nice big magnetic base and a nice large umbrella. And the umbrella not only saved me from the rain, but also from the seagulls that have a few nests up there. They are relentless. They are scary. So I was fending myself off with this umbrella. And while I was doing that task on the roof, my dad and my brother were downstairs in the actual plant and they were doing little inspections on all of the chillers in the factory. On Wednesday morning, I spoke to a group of girls on Zoom at the Vancouver Island University about their Women in Trades program, and I spoke to them specifically about refrigeration and HVAC, about my experience as an apprentice here in British Columbia and as a woman in this trade. And I just loved being able to share my story with them and my experience and a little bit of advice. I took a little snippet for you guys. Love the variety of work. I love the challenge of working with my hands and with power tools and even just fixing something at the end of the day. It's such a rewarding and accomplishing feeling. I had no idea that I would enjoy climbing up on roofs and, you know, fixing equipment and solving certain problems. I had no idea. So while I was doing that speech on Wednesday, my dad and my brother got started on the catering truck that we were working on that day. They replaced the condensing unit underneath the truck, and we've got these new, what do you call them, creepers? They're like little rolling platforms that you can lie on and you can roll around under the truck, which makes working on them so much better. So I joined them at that job after my speech, my little Zoom call. And then I got to change the 2 evaporator fan motors inside the cooler on this catering truck. We also had a call to our meat supplier, their main walk-in freezer, the one that we replaced the big compressor on back in March. They've got another smaller compressor in that same room. And it wasn't starting at all. We found the compressor protection module faulty, preventing the compressor from starting at all. So we grabbed another one of those, and they are so expensive. I just cannot believe how much controllers cost. Trevor and I found a refrigerant leak on and they also had another unit for us to look at. As we're working on the unit, we're like, there's a steam stack right beside this unit, and every time the wind blows, it blows that steam right into the condenser coil. It just keeps blowing steam into this condenser coil. The fan cycling switch was out of calibration. Possibly, now that I'm thinking about it, possibly due to that extra heat that it keeps receiving from the steam stack. Anyway, so we adjusted the fan cycling switch, And I love doing that because you get to see it working in real time. I love seeing it when it comes on and when it turns off. Well, guys, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the HVAC Diaries HVAC vlog. Thanks again, and I hope you guys have a really great weekend and a great week ahead. I look forward to seeing you next week. If you can believe it, it's August already. Crazy.